I've had a great time with Finn here, my 2013 JKU Sahara, but it's time for me to get a new rig. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this rig. I've put a ton of time and money into building it, and it's very, very capable. But as much as I love Finn, I've been starting to look for a new overlanding rig, one that'll suit me and my family for our next phase of life and our next phase of overlanding and off-roading. Now, let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with Finn. In fact, I'm not 100% that I'll actually get rid of Finn, but I also want to try something new. So, what am I going to get? Well, I asked you what you think I should get, and I got a ton of really great comments and interesting ideas. And the truth is, there are a number of amazing options out there. Now, I've always been a Jeep guy, and I'm sure there are people who watch this channel because you have Jeeps too, although I hope that's not the only reason you watch. Here's what you said when I asked. Some of you said, go with the Ford Bronco. Some of you said, go with a big truck, like a Dodge Power Wagon. And lastly, many of you said, I should go with the Jeep Gladiator. Here's my plan. I'm gonna test drive all of these rigs and evaluate them on some basic criteria. One, performance specifications. So I love my JK and it goes everywhere, but I wouldn't mind a little more power and some responsiveness. Number two, off-road capability. Since the majority of the time I'll be driving this new rig off-road or on pavement while heading to or from dirt roads, off-road performance and capability is very, very important. Number three, comfort and technology. Now, Jeep JKs are not known for their incredible comfort or modern technology. In fact, I've had to do some aftermarket modifications that are not perfect, but kind of get the job done, just to kind of keep it current with what I expect from a vehicle these days. I mean, I actually have to put a key in the ignition. I mean, who does that anymore? Number four, looks. Let's be honest. The way our rigs look is important to us. At least it is for me. So I'm gonna score my thoughts on how each rig looks. And lastly, number five, intangibles. So let's face it, this is a subjective decision for me. When it all boils down, it's my money, my life, and my channel. So there are things that are gonna be important to me that just don't add up, like how I feel in the rig, how it makes me feel when I think about it, or like look at it in the garage, you know, those intangibles. And honestly, I'm not even 100% sure what those are for me, but I'm hoping to find out. Okay, you're probably thinking, yeah, right, he's already made up his mind, he's just doing this to make a YouTube video, and I have to be honest with you. I am already definitely leaning a certain direction. I may have even put wheels in motion a certain direction. I mean, come on, like who isn't when you start thinking about a new rig, right? Like everything I do all day long has something to do with a rig, about building this rig or looking at someone else's rig or all of that stuff. So yeah, I've put a ton of thought into this already, but I have not signed any paperwork. I can still back out, and I am committed to trying these other rigs out before I ultimately decide, because I owe it to myself to see what these other rigs are all about, so I know if the way I'm leaning is the way I really want to go. So let's go start checking these rigs. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm glad you're coming with me. Let's go. So I am now headed out to Chris's house, and Lance is following me in his new Bronco, and he's got the doors off, and it's like 34 degrees outside. This is like classic Lance. So we're gonna be driving the Bronco today with the doors off. We're also gonna be driving the Gladiator, and we're gonna be driving a Power Wagon. So I cannot wait to get there. Okay, so I have the coolest friends because they have awesome rigs. So today I get to test drive this bad boy, this Power Wagon. Then come on, I'm gonna show you the other two rigs we're gonna test drive as well. So this is Chris's JKU. This is Lance's Bronco, so I'm gonna get in this and test drive this rig as well. We're gonna take it on-road and off-road. And then one more back here, we've got Chris, it's really Elsha's JT Gladiator. And so I get to test drive all these rigs today, and I'm gonna score them on the things we talked about earlier and let you know. So let's go do it.
Y'all trying to do?
Okay, so Elsha, this is your Gladiator, not Chris's.
It is. It is my rig.
This is the Pentastar 3.6, 280 horsepower engine, correct?
Yes, it is. So, and it moves because I've got the 8-speed transmission where Chris's Rubicon Wrangler JK has a 6-speed. The Gladiator's a lot more punchy.
What's your emotional connection with this particular rig?
It actually, honestly, also makes me feel really badass. But I love that it gives me so much more flexibility of things I can do.
So Joel, what year is this Power Wagon?
This is a 2020 Ram Power Wagon.
And what's under the hood here in this thing?
It is a 392 6.4 liter, I believe, V8.
Okay, so this is the 392, just in a truck.
Right.
How does it perform? Like, how's the get up and go?
It has all the power in reserve that you need when you want it for towing a boat or a trailer.
If you're like next to somebody at a stoplight and you're like, all right, Buttercup, like, can you hit it and beat them off the line?
I can, yeah.
Is it a smooth ride? Like, how do you like off-road, on-road? What do you think?
The ride is very smooth comparatively. It's spacious. It's a little bit wider. We've had 6 people in here, 6 adults in here at times, and we all fit just fine.
When you look at this truck, or when you ride in it, or when you think about it, how does it make you feel?
It has a really commanding riding position, so it's great being on the road.
So like, it makes you feel do you feel powerful when you're driving it?
Yeah, a Power Wagon full.
So tell me what Bronco you got here, Lance.
This is it's a 21 Badlands, and it's kind of Sasquatched.
What does that mean?
This is the Badlands with 35-inch tires.
What's the power like on this thing? What's the engine?
It's a 2.7. It's a twin turbo 2.7 liter.
How many horsepower?
330 if I use the right gas. It's got tons of juice. It definitely rivals the Tundra.
It rivals the 5.8 V8 Tundra?
Yep, the 5.8 with 380 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds. And the Bronco is like 2,000 pounds less with nearly the same power.
Like, when you look at this rig, how does it make you feel?
I have this completely irrational desire to own a Bronco. Maybe in the video you can show my original Bronco, but it was I painted it. It was a tractor enamel Ford blue, and it's almost identical to the color of this Bronco. And to finally be back in the Bronco, this thing literally makes me feel like this off-road portion of my life is complete now that I own this thing.
First impressions sitting in this car, it's really comfortable. The Bronco, the seats feel really nice. The steering wheel feels really nice. And like, it's just, they nailed the interior on this thing. The way the screen looks, the auxiliary buttons, the off-road buttons, it feels like it's made for driving off-road. So let's do a little bit of that. Oh yeah, I guess there is a rock right there. Sorry, dude. So we're just gonna do a little off-roading here. We're kind of on a soft road right now, but I can already tell that independent front suspension, it's like being aired down without airing down. I'm used to that solid front axle, and it's just way more comfortable. I can feel it articulating, kind of like you feel it when you disconnect your sway bars. Transmission to me feels like really, really responsive. It's got that 10 speed, so like I'm not going very fast, but it feels like there's power right underneath my foot. Here's what I think of the Bronco so far. Number one, looks. Nailed looks. It is like a really good looking rig. Comfort on the inside, nailed it. I would say like we're doing a scale of 1 to 3 here. A 3 on looks, a 3 on comfort, a 3 on technology. It is really nice to have all these cameras. In terms of power, the responsiveness of that 10-speed transmission and that twin turbo, you can feel it in a different way than I do in my JKU. So I'd give it a solid 2, maybe 2.5 on power. The intangibles, it's kind of a mixed bag. There's some history, there's some nostalgia. I really love especially older Broncos. The newer Broncos, quality control issues have been brought up. I don't see anything here. Of course, I don't live with this rig, but I think for me, like the intangibles on this one just so far feels good. It's a 2. It's definitely a 2. This is really, really interesting. Okay, we're now in the Gladiator. Now, a ton of you have told me to get a Gladiator, and it is probably the most popular overlanding rig right now for a very good reason. All right, let's give it a little drive. Ooh, so it's punchy right off the gate. It feels punchy to me. That must be the new transmission, the 8-speed transmission they've put in these things. Not quite as smooth as the Bronco so far. And it's longer, as I'm just finding out. You got to drive it a little bit different because it's got a longer wheelbase. I'm hitting the exact same road that I did in the Bronco, and it's a little bouncier in here. And it's that rear. The rear axle has just bounced a few spots more. Definitely has a longer turn radius than the Bronco did. I wish this is how everybody could test drive a rig before you decide to buy. Because honestly, off the lot, you don't really get a feel for how it is off-road. And this, driving a Jeep off-road is very different than driving it on-road. So performance on this, I'd give like a 2 or 2.5 because it's got the same engine as I have. So it doesn't have more power, but it has more power band because of that new transmission. On looks, I mean, Gladiators are pretty great. I'm gonna go solid 2.5 on looks as well. I do not like the way Gladiators look off the lot. I think they look like a bad 1980s mullet. But when you put bigger tires and suspension and a rack on it and all that stuff, they look awesome. And they look like purpose-built, capable rigs. And so comfort, I'd say it's a 2 on a comfort. It's more comfortable than my JKU. It's not as comfortable as the Bronco that I've driven so far. Inside, the interior is nice upgrades from the JKU in here. There's more kind of space in the cab. Technology, off-road capability. This is a 3. If there's like a 4, I would say 4. I mean, these rigs are so capable. They're so proven. The one thing about off-road capability in a JT versus a JL or a JKU is the wheelbase. It's longer. I would need to learn how to drive it differently than I drive my Jeep. Although, like, everybody I know has a Gladiator now, and they've put 37s on them, and with like a 5-inch lift or something, and they say all your departure, approach, breakover angles are just fine once you do that, but you're still longer. So turning in and out of things and navigating obstacles, that would be a learning curve. Intangibles for me on this, it's like a 2. When I look at a Gladiator, I think, yeah, that's a cool rig. Makes me feel like capable. I'm not a truck guy though. Like, I'm not like in my heart, but I would need to like take a look at myself in the mirror and ask myself, are you willing to be a truck guy? Which sounds really dumb, but it is what it is. Ooh, okay. Right away, I just started up the Power Wagon, and it feels like it has a bigger engine. Absolutely, you feel that thing rumble. It's like, has a little bit of vibration to the whole rig, so when you start it up, it's like, feel like maybe you've got a team of lions in front of you. Very different. A ton of space in here. I haven't even driven this thing yet, and I'm gonna say comfort is already a 3. Like, there is a ton of space. The center console is like as big as one of my rear seats in the JKU right now. So really, really nice. So let's give it a drive. Oh, this is weird. So it has a dial for the transmission, like to choose your gear, which is very different. That would be something I have to get used to. I do kind of like to muscle it in. So I'm going to be very, very careful on this trail because, as you know, Power Wagons are not a cheap truck. I do not want to ruin my buddy's rig. Is that a rock I'm about to run into? Sorry, Joel. Sorry, Joel. Oh, I don't want... Oh, he's a... Yeah. Here's the thing. So I'm driving this rig. It's a little bit harder to manage some obstacles because it's so long. I'm going to say right now, off-road capability, this is like a 1.5. And it's not because these things aren't capable. but you have to drive it a lot more differently. I understand now why Rob over at Revere Overland says when you have a Jeep, you don't have to be a good off-road driver, but if you have a full-size truck, you actually have to be a better driver. I feel that already. Oh, it definitely has the power. That is nice. Okay, here's what I think. Looks, it's a 3. These things are awesome. They look so mean and big and powerful. Like, they're a good looking truck. Power and performance, it's a 3. It's got a big engine in it. It feels good to drive. You can feel the power right underneath you. Intangibles. I mean, I gotta tell you, like I said, I'm not a truck guy, but like, this is a truck. You feel powerful in this thing. So I would say intangibles is a solid 2 for me. This is up there for me. The Power Wagon, I can see why people love it. I have to get there a little bit because it's so different than driving a Wrangler. My friends are awesome. Not only did they let me drive their rigs, but they let me film them all day long. But I had one more stop to make before my final decision. So I'm just waiting to look at a JLU Rubicon. So I'm waiting for the test drive keys, and we'll go take a closer look. Oh, there it is. There's a green one here. All right, so I'm test driving this JLU, and it feels kind of like the Gladiator, except that it's peppier. I don't think maybe just the shorter wheelbase, or I'm not sure if it's lighter or not, but it definitely feels punchier when I hit the gas than the Gladiator did. But the thing that I like the most about driving this rig right now, and I'm not driving it off-road, I'm driving it on-road, the thing I like the most about it is that it feels like I'm home. I know this, even though it's slightly different, it really feels like my current Jeep. I know where things are, I know where they go, and you know, this is what I'm used to. So, close?
Yeah, you're way closer than I would ever be.
Okay, I'll straighten this out. I've test driven the Power Wagon, the Bronco, the Gladiator, and the JLU. And I haven't been able to test drive a 4Runner or a Tacoma. I have been in Rob's Tundra, so I have some experience with the new Tundra, the 2023 Tundra, which I thought was, or 2022 Tundra, I should say, which I thought was really good. So, you know, now I got some decisions to make. I think I've got some pretty incredible options. We'll just see what happens.